Damian Papworth here from Globotel. I have a good friend of mine, Adam Stern, with me today. Now, Adam,
hello.
Who are you?
I am the Australian champion in freediving, and yeah, that's about it.
So, Adam, you hold your breath and dive deep.
I hold my breath, I swim down as deep as I can, and then I swim back up again.
Yeah, awesome. So, Adam, tell us a little bit about your social media.
So we, most of our...
just numbers, let's just give numbers.
Oh, alright, numbers. So on Instagram we have 168,000 followers.
Yep.
On Facebook we have 20,000. Facebook's where we're very weak actually.
Yep.
And then on YouTube we have 73 or 74,000 subscribers.
Yeah, awesome.
Yep.
So that's in a small industry, like freediving is a small industry. We're not talking about cupcakes or something with, like, we're not talking about golf or fishing that everyone knows. Like freediving is very, very small niche.
Yes.
So amazing numbers. Just a quick impact of what these numbers mean to you. You have an event that you do.
So we, 4 times a year, we run something called Deep Week, which is the world's largest freediving festival.
How did you, like 100 freedivers come to this event?
Yep.
And the question I want to know is, how did you sell your first one this year?
So the first one that we sold this year, which basically filled up in a week, was sold with sending one email to our database, and now we've only actually just started keeping a database, and we're only like 1,600 people on it, and then one Instagram post, and that's it.
One Instagram post, one email.
Yep.
And that's obviously $1,000 to go, 100 people, 100,000 revenue just from that.
Well, I mean, gross, right?
That's it, that's top line revenue. Not talking about expenses, just talking about the power of your...
Yes, absolutely, for sure,
your influence in using Instagram.
Yeah.
Cool. So my clients, obviously digital marketers. Social media is big for their clients, but also, you know, I know a lot of my clients will have things like real estate agents.
Yep.
And a real estate agent will not want to dominate an industry with influence like your approach.
Yep.
But they'll want to be an influencer in their community.
Yep.
So obviously the whole influence thing these days is around social media. So I just want to have a chat to you about things that work well for you that our clients can maybe implement for their clients.
Yep. Do you know, I think I'll give you, actually, you know, it's funny that you brought up real estate, because when we were looking to buy our house, there was this local real estate agent that had a YouTube channel, and he would get on there every week, and he would just chat. He would just sit there and chat about properties that had sold, why he thinks the price was there, if it was a good sell, if it was a bad sell, if he thinks it's, you know what I mean?
Yep, beautiful.
And I was watching that religiously, and you know what? At no point in time did this real estate agent try to sell his services. At no point in time to say the real estate agent, hey, by the way, come in and see me at so and so, I'll get you a deal. The thing is that what this person did was they were genuine, and they created something that was of value to their audience. And it wasn't necessarily anything that was going to be of value to them. And now, mind you, I lived in the...
So just say that again.
It wasn't something that was going to be of... They weren't trying to extract value for themselves. They weren't trying to say, here's my business. Oh, now they weren't trying to use their exposure to make a sale.
So their content was not self-serving in any way.
At all.
This is something that you brought up yesterday. It's like, if you're doing something that's adding value for yourself, it's probably a bad post.
It's absolutely. in general, you should never really be posting or trying to create like content that is about driving sales for your stuff. Like, obviously, there is a fine line where you know, that becomes appropriate. But in general, anytime you try to sell something, it hurts your content. And so you have to be, you kind of have to toss it up, don't you? How much am I willing to sell to hurt my content to help my pocket?
So when you're selling a Deep Week event, is there an art to do that in a way that is adding value to your audience also?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the way that we do that is that we post something that we think is visually appealing. So something that people are going to engage with because it's visually appealing. And then for us, it's not so much of a matter of like, hey guys, this is going to be the best thing ever, sell. It's like, hey guys, we've announced, maybe it's a little bit different because we've gotten to the point where the event books out on its own. So we're just announcing dates.
How did you do the first deep week then?
The first deep week was about, I suppose saying like, okay, the first deep week was not like a deep week. I was coming home from a freediving competition, completely broke. It was winter in Australia. I wasn't going to be able to teach freediving in Australia for a few months. I had a big debt on my credit card from this competition.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, well, you know what? I might just go to Bali and I'm just going to see if anyone wants to come and train with me.
Yeah.
And I said, hey guys, I'm going to be here in Bali for this period of time. If you want to come train with me for a week, here's a price. And then I had 20 people turn up.
Yeah, cool. So that's like still kind of adding value, isn't it? Because it's come train with me.
I view it as a very soft sell.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? In fact, I never actually do any kind of hard selling because I think, like, actually back to what this real estate agent was doing was if that's the person that you're getting your information from, and if that's the person that's in front of your face, when you go to seek that service, you will be more inclined to seek that person.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't live in the same area as him. Like, I lived about half an hour away.
Yeah.
So he was, you know, so obviously, like, I was kind of deaf ears for him.
Yeah. Sure.
But I mean, God, like, I can only imagine how many recommendations he gets from friends and friends of friends who just come in here. And this is a person who is just putting his face in front of other people in a way that's valuable for those people.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be. I think too often in social media, people play the short game. They're like, okay, well, I need to grow my account and I need to sell my stuff to that audience. And it's like, well, no, not at all. You need to grow your account and you need to develop a relationship with your audience.
So let's talk about that. There's obviously
I'm steaming ahead.
No, that's cool. There's obviously then what goes on after that. But let's talk about the relationships.
Yeah.
Because that's important. Like, so Adam, like freediving royalty. I started freediving. I found Adam on Instagram. Then I found YouTube afterwards, and I sent you a message on Instagram. And basically every message that I've got a mate, like we're in Burleigh Heads here. We're competing with the lorikeets at Burleigh Heads at the moment. If you hear them squawking by. But I've got a mate in Cape Town, a guy called Shamir, who also says to me, oh, you know, Adam, I love that guy because he answers everything. Every time I send him a message, he always answers.
Yeah.
So I get back to everyone, and then I send a message, hey Adam, I'm in Sydney, can I come train with you? And he goes, oh, I said, have you got a freediving? I've got a dive on this weekend.
Yeah.
He goes, oh no, but come train with me. So talk to me about that.
Well, I think, I mean,
in the context of relationships in social media.
Okay. Well, I mean, okay, so I suppose, like, I view these kinds of things as like an opportunity to create a relationship with maybe a potential customer, or to be honest with you, I mean, that's not always my motivation. I just like to chat to people. I just don't mind it.
Yeah, cool.
And I always thought it was beneficial to just be helping people out, because the truth is I made my social media because I wanted to give people some more insight into this wacky freediving world that I'm a part of. But if you were to take away the human element and look at it only from like the financial or business perspective, I get back to every comment and every message I get, because you never know how many of those people will, maybe not this year, maybe not next year or the year after that, but will eventually come to one of my events or one of my courses or one of my things. And the thing is, maybe they're not ready to take a freediving course that year, but when they are ready to learn how to freedive, they will seek me out, or they'll be more inclined to seek me out because they've already had they have a relationship with me. They've chatted to me. I've gotten back to them.
I was just talking to Erin, Adam's wife, yesterday, and her frustration that someone leaves a love heart on one of his posts and he has to get back to the love heart also. So everyone go and just put emojis on Adam's.
Please don't.
Yeah, awesome.
I just think, I think that if someone takes the time to write to me, I'm going to take the time to write back to them. Just because I have hundreds of thousands of people that are going to want to write to me, it doesn't mean that do you know what I mean? Like, it can't be a one-way street. I think too many people view these things as a thing of like, take. But like, it's like people take the time to write to me.
And that's what you were saying yesterday also, was you've got to remember that there's a human behind every single...
Yes.
Do you get many bots that just you can see junk because it's a...
Sometimes. Oh yeah, definitely. You always know when it's a bot that's posted something. But I think that also, you know, okay, I think people sometimes look at like a large, like how big does a social media account have to be large, right? Do you need 100,000? Do you need 1 million? Do you need 500,000? Do you need 10 million? Like,
is that important?
Yeah, but, well, exactly. I mean, like, if you have 1,000 people, if you have 500 people that follow your account, that's access to 500 humans. Like, how much would you have to pay to get your product in front of 500 humans?
So, and this is one thing that I talked to you about, Facebook groups. You know, obviously a lot more interactive than a Facebook page.
Yep.
And we've got, I think, 350 in ours at the moment, which we create business out of.
Yep.
So, and that's digital marketing. Competitive field, so it's you don't have to chase numbers. No. Particularly when you know...
Chase quality.
Yeah, you've got to know what you... Like the real estate agent in Burleigh Heads doesn't want a 500,000 account on Instagram of people throughout the world.
No.
Because he doesn't have a product throughout the world.
Exactly. Yeah, if you do have a product that you can sell remotely, then that's a different story, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then you still need people who are going to buy the product, not just people that just follow you.
So just in chats this week, we're actually this week where Adam's come up to chat to my business community about, you know, just things like what it feels like when you're 100 metres underwater and holding your breath, and you've got to find, you know, a moment of zen so you can swim back up to the top. But when we were talking yesterday with the guys at lunch, there's building relationships. Yeah. But you also mentioned, and this is I think the key as far as from what I can understand. Look, I'm not an influencer, so I'm just making assumptions. But when it goes into sort of influence, and that's when you build a community.
Yes.
So what do you think's the difference with your model, and how does it transition from these random relationships to having a community around you?
The moment, well, look, there are a few things that you do, right? I think that to an extent, exclusivity creates community out of the noise of the internet.
So how does that look like in your social media?
So like, I'll give you two examples. The biggest community that I'm a part of would be like the freediving community, and we have a very involved community of freedivers. And people that have come to deep weeks or courses with me over the years, and that go and dive together in different parts of the world and become friends after that, things like that. Now that becomes a community because people come to an event which is community based, and they make friends. And you know, just because I'm I suppose the curator of that community, like I don't actually view myself as the community head, because I don't think that would be that's not my role, I think, but I curate the community because I'm a part of running it, or I'm the one that runs the thing that's built it. That has been built because of contact. You know what I mean? If I wasn't in freediving and I was doing these other things and I wanted to build a community, I would start making actual meetings. Like for example, something that we want to start doing just in our areas, we want to start having, like, we call our community the freediving family. I want to have freediving family meetups. I want to have freediving, like I want to be like, hey, who wants to come and have coffee with us and see who's around. So actual being, like, connecting with people on a, like, actually meeting them is the easiest way and the strongest way, I think, to make community.
So, and that's really interesting, because that's, you know, the most active social media platform for me is LinkedIn, which the biggest thing with LinkedIn that I hate is people connect with me and then they pitch. You know, LinkedIn is supposed to be a connect with people, a little bit of rapport, but then try to take that connection into the real world.
Exactly. It has to move off the platform. Like, even what I was going to say, the second example is going to be, I have something called Patreon, which is a community where people donate to me. And we run projects that we think are valuable. Like, for example, we teach people from countries who wouldn't typically be able to afford it. They come and they take freediving instructor training for free and things like that, so they can then go and make a living out of freediving. And we also make educational materials for the members of that community. We make we do freediving. We do research. We do research based on the funds that they give us as well. And that community is based on people who are all contributing towards something. And it's different, it's a little bit different than when you're just in the chaos and the noise of social media, because out of the 200,000 people on a given day that we can reach, you know, maybe there are 500 that are the core group that actually want to contribute to what you're doing, and that's all you need. Yeah.
No, awesome. So I think that's pretty good information for this little chat.
Sure.
So I guess 3 big things from your perspective is post. Well, you've got to know your this is my perspective. First, know your audience.
Yes, definitely.
You're brilliant with knowing your audience, but add real value to that audience. Don't be self-serving at all.
Be genuine.
Yeah, and if you're going to sell, make it really soft and fit in with the context of what's going on. The second thing is relationships. You know, when people get back to you or comment or engage in it, that's a person. So engage back and have a conversation.
The worst thing is when you send someone a message and you know that their PA or like some manager of theirs has gotten back to you. You know what I mean?
All right. Or, I mean, how many times, I know a number of times that I reach out to people and you don't get anything back.
Nothing back, no.
And I don't write stuff that sounds like a bot.
No, for sure.
Yeah, so build the relationships, and then to create the community, that's where the real influence happens, is take it off the platform.
Yes, take it into the real world.
Thanks for your time, mate.
Pleasure.